Hi everyone, Kathy Janik here, skating director and learn to skate coordinator at Morgan Park Sports Center, a Chicago Park District facility at 115th and Western on Chicago's South Side. Today's virtual programming are some off-ice skating skills. So we're going to be working on two skills that you can be working on off-ice. The two things that we're going to be working on are Mohawks and three turns. They are two of the hardest skills to learn for transitioning. They turn you from forward to backward or from backward to forward. The ones we're going to be working on are going to be turning on from forward to backward. They are a part of transitioning into all jumps and spins and any kind of footwork that you want to add in your program. So they're super essential skills to have, and they're one of those they're hard skills because you're teaching your body how to twist but control that twist, and they're kind of bizarre skills. So something that you can work on off ice before we get back on the ice. So a couple of things that I want to cover first before we get started on the actual drills is that the thing that you want to focus on most is your shoulders. Your shoulders are the steering wheel to your body. So you don't want to torque your knees or your ankles into forcing these things to happen. The controlled way to do it is that you want to turn your shoulders as hard as they can go with, where the only thing that can happen is that your body will turn. So you're turning your shoulders as hard as they can go, and then your body turns. The thing after that is called the check. So there's the turn, and then there's the check. So if you turn your shoulders over as hard as they can go, what do you do to make it stop? You pull them back the other way. Okay, so whatever direction you're turning. So say, for me, I'm going to turn over my left shoulder. I'm going to turn towards my left side as hard as I can until I suddenly snap backwards, and then I'm going to pull that right shoulder back, and that's what stops the rotation. Otherwise, when you're on the ice and you're gliding, you will just keep on spinning. And that's sometimes what you want to do, but usually not. So if you're doing a spin, you want to check, and then you want to turn, and you want to keep on going. But if you're doing a jump, if you're doing any kind of footwork, if you're doing any kind of transitional stuff, like a three turn, a Mohawk, then you definitely want to get that check action to make sure that you're turning back on your shoulder. So turning in and then pulling back to stop that rotation. Otherwise, you're just going to keep falling in. So the first drill that we're going to do is a Mohawk drill. A Mohawk drill is when you use both feet to turn from forward to backwards. One foot goes forward, one foot goes backward. They do not turn on the ice. Okay, so one foot goes forward and one foot steps down backwards, and that's it. Okay, so the forward foot does not turn and the backward foot does not start forward. Okay, that's a very common mistake. So we're going to focus on keeping those toes separate. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is work on proper Mohawk placement. Okay. So the drill that I want you guys to do is you're going to start kind of in a first position for ballet. You're going to start like you're pushing forward. You're going to place your heel right in the middle of the other foot. Bend your knees, and then you're going to step down backwards on your second foot. Now try that again with the other foot. You're going to pull your foot to the middle. Make sure it's in the middle of your foot, not to the outside, not the toe. You're going to pull right to the middle there. Bend your knees and extend out. Okay, you can hold a chair. You can have something here to hold on to if you feel like you're a little off balance, but you want to make sure that you're pulling in, bending your knees, and then extending out. Okay, so the next part of that is that you want to feel like you're actually skating forward. So you're going to step forward kind of in a stroke, and then you're going to turn your shoulders. You can see my hips turning a little bit. Okay, so you're going to turn your shoulders in, place your heel down, bend those knees, make sure you really get a nice plie, and then open up and put your toe down facing backwards the other direction. So this is skating forwards, this foot is skating backwards, and they don't step down. So one of the really common mistakes is that if I'm skating forward here, I'll put my foot down facing you. Can you see that my toe is facing the camera? And then what I'll end up doing is twisting. Okay, so that's a really common, let's pop this down a little bit. So that's a really common mistake. You don't want to point your toe down towards the middle of the circle and end up having to do a turn. Okay, so the hard part here is making sure that you're getting your toes wide enough that you can have one pointing forward and one pointing backwards. And then when you step down, you've got that separate direction. Okay? So you want to keep trying that from one direction to the next. Now I'm going this direction. Now I'm going to go from my left foot, press, toe open, really bend those knees, and then open out. If I don't bend my knees, then my toes don't open as wide. If I bend my knees, I'm able to get a much wider stance on my toes than if I straighten my knees. So that's why we bend our knees, okay? So those are the two parts of the drill, There's the open place here, almost like a ballet drill, okay? And then there's the practicing it like you're actually skating. You're gonna take a stroke, turn your hips, press down, and hold, okay? And then take a stroke, turn your hips, press down, turn backwards, and hold, okay? So those are the two portions of the Mohawk drill. So that's the first drill we're going to do today. That is the drill that we posted last week. I just wanted to do a quick overview of it. So I hope you guys were working on it last week. The next drill we're going to do today is a 3-turn drill. A 3-turn drill is turning on just one foot. So whereas the Mohawk used both feet, forward and backward, the 3-turn drill uses just one foot. You start forward, you turn backwards on that same foot. You start forward, you turn backwards on that same foot. And the foot that's in the air should never drop down. You never want that one to touch the ice. So that's the hard part, okay? So we're gonna work on something to make those a little bit easier. I hope you guys remember what I said. What's the most important part of your body in the turns? Your shoulders. You wanna turn your shoulders in as hard as they can go. And then as soon as you turn, you pop back in order to make that turn stop rotating. Okay? The important thing that a lot of people forget about their 3 turns is that you want to, in order to make the turn easier for you, is that you want to turn on the smallest part of your blade possible. Okay, so you almost want to, you want to turn on the very kind of small area between your toe pick and the rest of your blade. Okay, so a lot of people, what they end up doing is they turn on a flat and they're pressing down very, very hard into the ice. And so you end up getting this like scraping sound. You're almost snow plowing into the ice. You get a lot of snow out of it because you're using your whole blade to scrape against the ice. So instead what you want to do is you want to pop up to a little bit of your toe pick, not your actual toe pick, that area right behind your toe pick. And then you want to turn just in that little area and then pop back down to your heel. So, excuse me. So you're using just a little bit of your blade, not the entire thing. Okay? So we're going to practice that. So first we're going to do it. So I'm going to pull a chair over here. So you can use a little bit of help. Okay? And so the first thing I want you to do is just to practice popping up to your toe and coming down. Popping up and coming down. Up and down. So notice I'm not going all the way up to my tippy toes. I don't want to use my toe pick. Okay? I'm just doing a very slight up, very slight down. Okay? So what you want to do is you're going to assume 3-turn position. You're going to extend your foot. You're going to pull in, pop up, twist, and come back down, and then extend. Okay? Trying on the other foot. Extend, pull in, pop up, turn, and extend. Okay, I'm doing it very slowly. Reach out, pull in, pop up, turn, and extend. Okay, so you'll notice I'm not popping again. I'm not popping all the way up to my toe pick. I'm just doing a very slight lift of my heel as I turn, and then coming back down. Okay, so then the next part of it is trying to do it without the chair or without anything to hold on to. Okay, so you're going to extend, pop up, whoop, and turn. Okay, it's a little bit harder. So you're going to twist your shoulders, twist your left arm in front, twist whatever free leg is in front, squeeze in, pop up, whoop, and come back down. Okay, pop up, and come back down. Okay? So those are the two drills that we're going to work on today: the Mohawk and the three-turn drill. The three-turn drill can get harder and harder the more you work on it. The more you're kind of trying to control that the turn and the check. You couldn't really see it because I was focusing on my feet, but I was turning my shoulders very, very hard. And then once I turned, I popped that shoulder back behind me in order to make the rotation stop, so I could hold that edge without falling in. A lot of the common mistakes is that people have a tendency to drop their shoulder and drop their hip. Once they turn, they have a tendency to fall into the circle. So you really want to make sure that you're pulling up on that shoulder, pulling back on your hip, and making sure that you're able to hold the nice edge on a big circle instead of cranking that edge in towards the middle of the circle. Okay? If you guys have any questions about the drills, feel free to drop them in the comments. I will try my best to respond to them in the best way that I can in text, or I will try to record a video if you need a little bit more clarification. If you guys have any questions about the virtual program this week, please feel free to email us at virtualfitness@McFetridge, McFetridge Sports Center.net, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. If you have any questions specifically about the drill, please feel free to email me, Janik, Janik, at morganparksportscenter.net. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed the drill. Please let me know how it goes. If you guys have any questions, or if there's any skills or jumps or spins or anything that you are looking specifically for off-ice drills and I will try to give you my best off-ice drills so that you can work on them. Thanks so much for joining me. Stay safe and healthy.